This is James Bonding. Welcome, everyone. We are going to be doing Diamonds Are Forever today. You right there, bud? Mike's cleaning up. If you haven't seen this before, or this is your first time jumping in, or, I know we're live now, so it's like you might just saw us. We're just doing a James Bond entirety retrospective. We're calling it James Bond. Bonding, sorry.
James Bonding.
And, yeah, we're at Diamonds Are Forever, so the seventh film, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Because we did 5 with Connery, 1 with Lazenby, and now we're back to Connery.
Right. And so what we do every week, this is Gin and Sofa, so we try to I got a cork. This is gonna be fucking nuts. We try to theme a drink with their topic. And damn it, I forgot the book again. There's a book from Bar Swift. They're in London. They're a London-based bar, located in Soho. Been there. They wrote a recipe book of standby for pop. You go first.
Oh, I already poured.
Okay, there you go. I got the old Trader Joe's special.
Wonderful. I got something called Andre.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get. But I stopped at Trader Joe's. It was still this was like $7.
Yeah, I think I paid $8.50 at the Lowe's Food down here in South Carolina.
Okay. So I was gonna say we theme our drinks for the topic, but the this book has I don't know 100 fucking cocktails mixed in there, and so that way we pick one that's kind of based on the movie we're reviewing. So here we are. Diamonds Are Forever. The drink is basically another martini almost. We've been doing martinis now, I think, for like 3 straight films, I think.
Right.
But, isn't that not the James Bond way? So this one is essentially, I did an ounce Kettle One again. Kettle One.
All right.
And then I got this here nice Orchard Pear liqueur.
Okay.
I did an ounce of that because I just combined the 2 that they had in the recipe book, right? And then I got my Lillet. That was a half ounce there. And then I topped it with the lemon peel and the champ we just showed. And you can kind of see it in there. Kind of. There's a diamond. Here, I'll pull it out. Let me see. Before it melts all the way. My fingers in my fucking drink.
So you have a diamond mold.
Yeah, a diamond mold. Is this hard to see? Yes.
A little hard.
But you can. It looks just like the size of the ones in the film,
Right.
But I got those a long time ago when I was trying to make these drinks. So came in handy. Look at that. You want to talk about what you had, or I'm gonna
sure. I was pretty close. So I didn't bring the liquor up here, but I did a 2-ounce gin sulfa pour of Belvedere. And then I could not find pear liqueur.
Yeah?
Yeah. The little fucking podunk shop that I go to didn't have it. Now how do you say, is it Lillet?
Yes, that's what I say. Lillet.
Okay, so apparently there's 3 kinds of Lillet. So in 2011 they came out with a Lillet Rosé because everyone likes things pink nowadays.
I like that.
And then before that they had Lillet Blanc, which I guess just means white and or clear. And then they had a rosé or Lillet Rouge.
Yeah. Red.
Yeah. The only one they had at the store was Rouge. So I have a little, if you look, mine's kind of a pinkish hue to it. But so I had, I'll just continue to hold.
I think, let me see which one I have. I have Lillet. It's, that's the one I got.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think I've had this for about far too long than I probably should be drinking out of it. I think it's like 5 years old, dude.
I don't know. Does it have an expiration date?
I don't know because it does say it's a wine. Apparently, technically, it's a wine.
Yeah, right? Well, allegedly. I mean, liquor doesn't go bad.
That's true. You can age wine.
Yeah.
It gets a higher
So
value. Plus, you use like only like a half ounce every fucking drink with that thing.
yeah,
So
so I used the Lillet. I had the Belvedere, and then I also put a lemon peel, and then I put a little
okay.
garnish.
What's the garnish? An orange? Or is that lemon?
No, another piece of lemon.
Okay.
And then I topped it off with the whatchamacallit, the champagne, the Andre, and then so I didn't have a diamond, but I've got a big ass spear
Big ass
of
cube.
ice.
Big
So
bowl.
originally it is a Star Wars Death Star mold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those. Nice,
So,
nice.
but well, I'm a little thirsty. I'm a little parched, so
Yeah, you know what? Go
I'll
ahead, take
take
a
a
sip
drink.
in that, bud. Go ahead, tell me what you think. The funny thing is, I did put out the recipe for we could have it equal, but I think the powers that be just don't want us to have the same drink ever.
Again, I was, and you even did put that you were getting Andre. So when
Yeah,
I was looking for a cheap champagne, I saw they had Andre, so I was like, oh, okay, we'll be as close as we can.
yeah. I mean, I don't know why. I think it was closer to stop at Trader Joe's, and I was like, "What's the cheapest they had?" I feel like when you get to that level of like price point,
It doesn't matter.
yeah, it can't be that different, right?
So, I mean, obviously, just kind of talking about the drink. I've got a nice hints of lemon.
Mhm.
How does it taste for you with the? Because the biggest thing that I'm missing is the
It's the
pear.
pear.
Yeah,
So it kind of okay. So to me, pear is an interesting flavor because it's kind of like
subtle.
yes, it is subtle, and it's also kind of like it's like an appley feel.
Yeah.
So it kind of tastes like that, like lemon apple kind of thing, and it's not that
Okay.
strong at all. So it's like just kind of, and it goes with the champ, white grapes. It all kind of blends in a way, but nicely, I think. Did you ever have the school lunch that Chris wanted, or we made with Chris at one time?
I'm pretty sure I was on that episode
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
where,
You remember that at all? Or
yeah, it was like
yeah,
apple juice and champagne.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So I think you do or do not remember this. I'm not the biggest champagne guy.
mm. I don't
However,
remember that, but
no. I've got to say, of all of our drinks so far that we've dabbled with a little champagne, it's probably my favorite.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's a high bar, but okay, favorite's good. Yeah. I
Like,
mean, compared
so
to the well, what about compared to the other Bond drinks we've had?
this is still probably one of the, I'd
So
say middle to topper middle.
man, I didn't rank those.
Um,
So I wrote up on the board. Obviously, you can't see, but I wrote in the whiteboard what I remember our rankings of everything, and I fucking didn't put the drinks. But I mean, if I can remember right, you loved Doctor No. You didn't like From Russia with Love drink, the red.
no.
Goldfinger, you made it. I didn't, but you said it was okay.
I wasn't a big fan.
Not a big fan. The Thunderball, we did Spectre drink, right? The cocktail. So it was a martini.
Yeah.
This is a better martini than that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then the Honor Majesties. Oh wait, sorry. You only live twice. I did the tea drink, which I think is the top for me right now.
Yeah.
And Honor Majesties. Actually, you know what? No, that's two. Honor Majesties was one, just because it was so minty. I love that shit. The chocolate mint.
I didn't hate it, but yeah, it was pretty strong.
I think this is third. Is what I was getting at. Top three.
I would give this a solid 3. Now if I made this again, I don't know if it's just because I'm a homer or what, but I'd probably put I think a good Hendrix substitute the vodka. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got cut. The problem with vodka, though, it just doesn't add anything to the drink. You know what
I mean? Yeah, it's generally flavorless. I think especially like that Hendrix Abibium or
I know you're talking about Obidium or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That had a good like floral notes. I think it would pop with the Lillet and the champagne and a little bit of lemon. So
I saw when I was buying the pair, I saw that they have the Grand Cabaret Hendrix.
okay.
I almost got it, but it looked good. Also, Empress has the it's like rose, elderflower
Yeah,
rose gin.
yeah. Have you actually
One.
seen it yet? I
Yeah,
haven't come across it.
I just saw it at the. I had to go to the Hampton ABC store to get this fucking pear shit. It was either Hampton down by Fort Monroe, or it
Yeah.
had to go all the way up to Richmond. So I understand I feel your lack of pear liqueur pain. I don't know why, but it's like I don't know, the hardest thing to find. Although
You know,
to me, it sounds like a very versatile thing to have. Like
you
a
know,
different flavor.
it's funny too because when I was living in Virginia, with the whole bullshit like Commonwealth and how the ABC
Yeah.
stores are run, you kind of feel like you're in a prison on Planet Bullshit, and then
but then you realize how decent Planet Bullshit is.
yeah, because coming down here, there's no regulations, and I haven't because pretty much all the ABC stores in Virginia are relatively large, and
Yeah. They're not like the tiny shack. Yeah, I know what you mean. Down there.
yeah. Whereas like down here in Charleston, like everything is a mom and pop like liquor store, and I haven't found one yet that's like big. Like they're all.
I think it's called Bottles, Mount Pleasant. I don't know if it's still there.
It is still there. I have not been there, and that's just because for me to get to Mount Pleasant, it's
a journey.
45 minutes,
Because it's like, yeah, I know what you mean. I just remember going there and they have like a spirits, and it's kind of like Total Wine with liquor. So like that's probably your best bet, which sucks though, because like you said, there's like one.
It would be one of those things for me where if I had like a laundry list or, I was going to get some like good whiskey or something, maybe I'd make a trip. But, generally like I'm hitting the point now where usually I have like at least the liquor. And then now it's just me going getting like the complimentary, either the liqueurs or like, my fucking liquor run was just getting Lillet, which I kind of felt like a weenie, just going in and buying a bottle of Lillet, like, Lillet. Oh, don't have too good of a night,
Yeah, wine, huh? Like, all right, dude, fuck off. I know what you mean, but the book, these recipes don't help. You know what I mean? Like, it does not help with like having to get something random. But yeah, I'm gonna flip us. Let's see what this has. Ready? You like that? No, I think I was looking to the right here. Maybe that's better because when I look to the left, how's my eyes look when I'm looking at you now?
You always look great.
Thanks, bud. Putting myself back. That's a lot. All right, so yeah, I had to go just get pear, and I'm like, this is like it's like 18%, 24%. Okay, so mine's more boozier than yours. Although you had 2 ounces of vodka.
Yeah.
So me out there.
I mean, I always do a gin sulfapore, but on top of that, I kind of said, okay, because I was thinking about doubling up the Lillet. But I was like, I'm already doing a gin sulfapore. I think you're all right.
Yeah, so, I think I'll be okay. Yeah. And if not, just refill, bro. Like I think it's a good drink. I think it's a slower sipper. You know what I mean?
For me, it's not as slow as like a traditional martini, because
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the champ really kind of cuts it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I feel like this would be one of these things where like you'd probably want to have someone, maybe like the DD or your wife or a random person you're trying to bang, just kind of like stop you at like 4 or 5 because like this is not like a traditional martini,
hey, lady, I'm trying to bang. If you see me get more of these drinks,
stop me at 5 because if not, I'm probably not going to be a good night for you because definitely going to have.
You might have to actually just drag me out of here because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but that kind of constitutes the fact that it's not. I don't want to say. I was going to say delicious, but it is good. So it kind of constitutes the fact that you're not gonna stop at 1, which is a 3, or is it 4?
And maybe
4 is we know 4 is off the menu. We got you, degenerates. Even though no one's in the chat, degenerates that are not in the chat, we got you. All right, we know what a 4 is.
the other thing, and it kind of just hit me now, because I'm not a big, I know you've dabbled a little bit in like champagne, like you've got like Don before, right?
Yeah, I have.
It's a little better than this bottom barrel shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same with like whiskey, any liquor, like. But
Well,
I guess
I was gonna.
go.
I was just gonna say for maybe for our finale, maybe we just buy a bottle.
I mean, he does drink Dom a lot. What was the one he said in Dr. No? It was like 53. I prefer the 53.
53.
I was reading a lot. Okay, so I was reading a lot just to find trivia on this movie. And of course, like a lot of it is always, it was like, this is the first one he never mentions with Dom Perignon he likes, or one of the few, and they were listing off the ones he says. And I was like, man, this guy, it was like a different year every movie. It was like 53 in Dr. No, it's like 56 and from Russia, and it's like, but we'll get to it. But it does come and play. And you're like this, and he came and playing From Russia with Love when he was just like, oh, white wine with fish, huh?
Right.
You don't prefer the 55? Something wrong with you, bro. That's the drink review, guys. I think even 3, I think. Although I think I have up here, check this out. So, I have like, you put text and teleprompter and whatever. I had this from a previous one, but I'm going to put it anyway. Wow. What do you know? It's from a previous drink. Turns out we're here still, baby. 3 and 3.
Wonderful. I love it.
All right, so we're doing Diamonds Are Forever. All right.
Yeah.
Sean Connery's swan song, officially.
Officially. Kind of.
Right. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Yes, it is the official one, right?
He's had like 3 of them. We'll have 3.
This is the second swan song. But the final swan song, Diamonds Are Forever, 1971. Okay?
Yep.
We're in the 70s now. Which I'm going to say I didn't really notice from the film. But 2 years after On Her Majesty's, so apparently the story goes promoting On Her Majesty's was like a nightmare with Lazenby. I guess because he was in this whole like with his agent saying, we talked about it before, but like don't take the deal, blah blah blah. So he shows up to press conferences in a beard and long hair.
Didn't look like Bond.
Yeah, these guys, they're the good old boys club, right? Like Eon is like Cubby Broccoli and shit. He's like, I want you to look just like Sean Connery. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the fucking 60s and 70s. They fucking don't they don't budge on that shit. So. He pissed them off, but they still offered him the 7-year deal, which he declined. Which that's a story known by he's dumb. He's a fucking moron. So their first option, I believe, was Roger Moore again. He was busy still.
Yep.
So they're like, fuck, god damn it. And apparently a little fun fact is that even though On Her Majesty's did pretty well in the box office, it didn't do so great in America.
Okay.
So their plan of attack was, let's get Connery back, and let's fucking set that shit in America.
Yeah, they paid him.
Yes.
Yeah.
They paid him a record $1.25 million.
Yeah.
Which I didn't put the inflation calculator in, but
do you know what he made on the last one you only lived twice?
I didn't look. That's a good question. We'll look. I'll take it as a look up, Mike.
From what the internet made it sound, you said 1.1,
1.25, I think it is. Yeah, which was a record at the time. So
that was a fucking hike. From I didn't look up the specific numbers, but they fucking paid him.
Yeah, which I think comes into play with the production.
Right.
Which we'll talk about obviously.
Sure.
But that's came in play because they had to pay him. But they wanted him back. They wanted to sit in America, and they also wanted to like build off the success of Goldfinger. Okay, let me. I don't know if you know this. Do you know that stuff?
Yeah, I do.
So they wanted to do. They said Goldfinger. Everyone loves Goldfinger.
Allegedly,
classic, right? So let's bring the same actor back that played Goldfinger, but he's going to play his twin brother as the villain. We're going to get Shirley Bassey back. She's going to sing the theme song. we're gonna set in America just like the other one was in Kentucky. It's fucking
Mhm.
gold, baby, but not gold, diamonds. Okay,
Yeah.
so the plan though to me is funny because Thunderball made way more money than Goldfinger.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it makes no sense the fact that they were like, hell yeah, Goldfinger, fuck it. So the original script was the twin brother was the villain, and I remember they said that he was actually gonna get revenge for Tracy's death. But once Lazenby dropped out, they saw it as an opportunity to write this script. So they're like, hell yeah, dude, fucking Connery's back. Fuck marriage, dude.
Right.
So yeah, the plan was that was the plan. And the predominantly set in Vegas is what they chose. The funny thing about that, they never once say Las Vegas. They never say Vegas. Not once.
They just said they went to Nevada.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
the closest you get, which is weird. Very weird. For a film that's like we want to make sure they know we're in America and we're gonna film like they had Howard Hughes, block off streets and use his buildings he owned to like film the casino shots and all that stuff, to not say Vegas.
Can I ask you a random question?
Yeah.
So
Is it
we'll
random?
we'll probably get into it, but so he flies from Holland, right,
Mhm.
to Los Angeles,
Right.
and then they drive to Vegas.
Is he
Why
from Los
didn't
Angeles?
he just?
Yeah.
Yeah, he originally flew into Los
Okay.
Angeles. Why didn't he just fly into Vegas? Like he
Maybe they would've-
specifically got a like. They called it out that he was flying to Los Angeles to smuggle in these diamonds.
Maybe Vegas was an international airport at the time. But
I wasn't around in '71, but like
I can't say. I can't verify. I mean, maybe they're trying to throw the scent off the Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint, who were
we'll get into them.
Yeah. So with one last note,
Okay.
just before we get into the meat, the budget. What do you think the budget? Did you look this up? These numbers?
$7 million.
Yep, 7.2. A little bit over 7. 7 was On Her Majesty's was 7. So same budget. Box office.
I didn't look that up.
Wow, Mike. Box office for Diamonds. Want to guess? Wait, well, I want you to get. Do you remember On Her Majesty's?
85 On Her Majesty's.
80. Yeah, I got 82. So yeah, right.
Yeah.
So and they saw that as like a disappointment, right?
Oh yeah, I think I looked this up, but was it 94? 112. Okay.
116. So money penny wise,
it did a little
worked
better.
out.
A little
It
better,
worked
yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah. So that's
And then if I
and I'll tell you
remember
before
correctly, it was released December 16th, 1971.
I didn't write that down.
Yeah, it was
I think
December
it was December
something.
though. It was definitely December. It was a Christmas movie. I was thinking about like throwing in the Rotten Tomatoes now. See how we think. But you want to do it at the end or the beginning?
Oh, we'll do it at the end.
Okay, cool.
No, let's do it now.
You want to do it now?
Sure.
Okay. I want you to guess. I wrote down On Her Majesty's just to keep, in case, I didn't want to just start now.
All right.
So On Her Majesty's was a Rotten Tomato critic score, 81%.
Okay.
Audience score, 64%.
Okay.
Weird, right? I thought audience would be higher, but that's just me. Because I thought it was more like I guess it makes sense because all the directors loved it. And fans were like, oh, what the fuck? That's not
where's
fucking Sean."
Connery? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Connery. All right, so now this comes out. And given the fact that he just said it made about $30 more million. So it was a
Right.
fucking success, right? In their eyes. Rotten Tomatoes score, critics, what do you think?
64.
Oh, you looked this up?
No.
You looked this up. Are you having
No, I swear. No.
64%. On the money. On the money. Get this man a prize. Get this man a prize right now. Come on down, brother. Come on down. What about the audience? If you need the audience score, I'm sucking your dick, brother. I'm sucking your dick right now. On cam.
77.
You're one digit off. 57.
Okay.
So they hated it. The
Really?
audience hated it compared to Honor Majesties, but the
Really?
critics
I
also
thought
hated
the
it.
audience was just gonna blow that,
I will say
Connery is
preface
back.
this with the fact that these Rotten Tomatoes scores are like kind of like current day. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I don't know how you can with that site, I don't know how you can like
Sure.
encapsulate like a time period. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like because like
Got
it's
it.
like, hey, you could look at it now. We watched the film this week. You know what I mean? And what did you think?
Yeah.
And yada yada. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm surprised the audience really hated it. We'll get into it. We'll get into it right now. You want to get in it right now?
Sure.
All right. So here we go. Connery's back, baby.
Yeah.
1971. You're in the theaters, Mike. Your boy Connery, who you thought was gone, is back.
Connery is back, and my first note is literally says Connery is back, and he's old as fuck. Because Homeboy was only 41, but man, did
it was
the
like
60s and 70s treat him like
What
this
was,
dude was using his body like a porta potty. Like
what was the when did fucking You Only Live Twice come out? Like 67?
Yeah.
It's been like 4 years. He's aged 40 years.
This guy literally, I feel like they pulled him out of some fucking opium den. Like
Oh my God. Yeah, okay, so let's get into the opening sequence because yeah, he does look old as shit, right? All right, so he's like this opening. What do you think about it?
Okay.
The opening, we can start ranking those, but it's a lot.
All right,
yeah.
so the opening, like one, I had to look it up. So they didn't explicitly say, but like he was still supposed to kind of be going after Blofeld for Tracy's death, but like it didn't necessarily come off. But like man, I laughed so hard when he rolled up on the chick on the beach because like dude is just like, and this is like the because we'll get into it in License to Kill, but like Bond was like full on vengeance right now. Like he's rolling up and he's like, "Where's Blofeld?"
I mean, he's throwing motherfuckers through the wall,
right,
in the casino. Yeah,
and he rolls up on some chick on the beach, and it looks like he's about to, fucking get his rocks off. She's taking her top off, and he's choking her out with her fucking bikini. And I laughed as I'm watching this fucking movie in my living room. I'm laughing like, all right, like
Connery's back, baby.
Different Connery, I guess. Like usually, dude. Because I mean, what movie was it? Was it fuck, they're all blending together. Was it Goldfinger, where he knew that she was a fucking henchman and he fucked her anyways?
Thunderball.
Okay, yeah.
The redhead chick. Yeah. Yeah.
Bond will always put his dick in something.
Yeah, he's like,
and yet, this one,
yeah,
he didn't sleep with her. He fucking choked her out with her bikini top.
And it just kind of cuts there.
Yeah.
He chokes her and it's just like, and then all of a sudden he pops up in his lair.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so like the thing that I noticed, all right, is that it was very weirdly shot. Okay, in like the first guy who gets thrown through the door or the window, the wall, essentially in Japan, which I think it is Japan, which is weird because, like you said, it kind of felt like a continuation of him hunting down Blofeld,
right?
But You Only Live Twice was in Japan,
right,
where he was married to the Japanese girl.
Yeah.
Kissy Suzuki. So like I'm like, are they like trying to blend the two together?
I assume now they also sent him to Cairo. Cairo, I don't think has shown up yet.
Yeah, but so he like knocks this guy through the wall, and he like slides into the. Did you notice this? He slides into the like board, and he like stops right at the fucking door. Like his face is like, and I'm like, what is happening? It's very cartoonish. Is probably the best way to say it.
This was a very kind of like, I don't want to say slapstick, but
goofy.
They definitely, we'll go with silly. Yeah, they definitely brought it back.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was funny because like he finally goes to Cairo and beats. They don't show Connery's face until he gets to that girl,
right?
And it's like, oh, I did note that he sounds extremely Scottish now.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he looks old and Scottish. Yes, and it says Yeah, like he didn't sound that Scottish in You Only Live Twice. You know what I mean?
Which can we take a sidebar just to say that fucking relatively new audiences. I remember in 2006, prior to fucking Casino Royale coming out, they fucking flame sprayed Daniel Craig for being blonde.
I remember.
Fucking flame sprayed this motherfucker. Never even saw him. They lost their fucking mind that he was blonde. Oh, blonde's never been blonde.
James Blonde.
He's British.
Blonde. Yeah.
And he's got brown black hair. Okay, so far Connery is a fucking Scotsman. Lazenby was Australian. Yeah.
And I mean, I know you don't like him, but he's
Pierce.
Pierce. He's Irish, right?
I don't know.
He's not British. My point is, I think about
he could be Canadian. I don't fucking know.
I think 5 out of the 6 actors aren't Britich. That's the funniest part. I think Craig and Moore are the only ones that are actually British. Maybe Dalton, but all right, so maybe half are British. Whatever. The point is, they're not. It's not like a guarantee. I agree. I don't know. It's this blonde thing, and then you think about the blonde thing, but Roger Moore had kind of red hair almost.
Right.
So okay, let's worry about the
back to this intro. He eventually ends up in this fucking mud bath layer where they kind of choppy plot. We're talking about how I guess Blofeld is making body doubles.
So yeah, he's making clones or something. Yeah, body doubles,
something like that.
Probably more that than clone. Yeah.
But, okay, the silliest part. Mm-hmm. Silliest part of the movie. Well, there were a lot of silly parts, but
the whole movie. Come on, bro.
There were dude. Bond rolls up, so they show these fucking doctors walking out of this room where they just change this guy's face.
Although when he comes up out of the thing, he looks
wasn't changed, but
right.
So they show one of the doctors laying in bushes. So then they show Bond, and Bond rolls up. He's going to fucking kill this guy in the mud bath, and the guy which you think it's Blofeld or whatever in the mud bath pulls out his fucking gun, and it's fucking dirty. It's been in a. That thing's not gonna fucking fire. Why's he got a gun in a fucking mud bath?
Yeah. Yes. He's okay, and then even sillier though was when Blofeld rolls up. He comes up and they kind of fight. I guess you'd say fight, but he smacks him with a dentist light. You know what I mean? When you go to a dentist and they put the light over your face.
Yeah.
Fucking drill. He's and the guy's and I'm what? Did he die from a fucking light hitting his back?
And they threw him in a mud bath lava pit, and he died.
It wasn't even the same one that the dude had a gun in. It was a completely
different one.
Yeah. What's that about? I don't. I'm just gonna put a Twitch out there so you guys, since we have 0 listeners, maybe they'll pop in. But yeah. So I said the opening scenes feel very, very weird and moving too fast. He was just punching dudes left and right. And then let's see, share link to copy. Okay, and then so I guess he died like you said on title song time. Thoughts?
I'm so glad we're here. Okay, so one, I said, is this the best intro song to date?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But also, I said, is this the moment that a lyrical genius was born?
He heard this and he was like, I need to sample this shit in the womb.
So 1971, this movie comes out. And then fast forward to 2005, and a Kanye West heavily samples the Diamonds Are Forever.
Right, yes. Yep.
Which, for the record, I don't know if, I actually like Kanye West. I don't like new Kanye.
Nobody
I don't think anyone does.
No one likes new Kanye. They like that old Kanye.
But of Kanye West songs, Diamonds Are Forever is definitely in top 3 for me.
Yeah, so I think this part of the plan of building success off Goldfinger works.
Yeah.
She nails it. It's a great song. I think Goldfinger's a little better, personally. I think this is probably number 2 though. You know what I mean? Like this is like maybe it's just her. Maybe I just like Shirley Bassey. But
Right.
The funny thing is they almost didn't have this song. Did you hear that?
No.
Cubby Broccoli, the producer, he thought it was too suggestive about males' wangs. All right, too many dong references. Because diamonds are better than dongs or something like that.
Okay.
The sad truth is, Cubby Broccoli, that she's right. I'd rather have a big ass diamond than a big ass dong. Let's be honest, bro.
Yeah,
that's me personally. You might, Mike. You might like giant dongs over giant diamonds. That's you. You live your life, brother. Don't discriminate. Don't hate. But I'm just saying, he thankfully no one listened to him because he was fucking wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I think it was really good. I think the only gripe I have with it is the transition from the cat to the theme song title screen was just weird. But it was like, other than that, that's like a second. Once you get past that, you're like, all right, cool. Diamonds are forever. And it's like, it makes sense. It feels very Bondian, diamonds, which is funny because we eventually go right into Bond talking to M, and actually we don't, but we kind of do.
So we kind of get this.
Yeah, we do go to Bond and M.
We kind of get the intro, and kind of the plot of the movie is that they're sending Bond to figure out this diamond problem.
Smuggling shit, right?
And then while they're talking, they kind of show this like out in Africa, how the miners are, stealing diamonds from the site, and then they're bringing them to a dentist, and then the dentist, pretty much goes and this is when we meet the henchman of the movie, because for the record, up to this date, my favorite henchman
so far.
Really, so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said Mr. Wimp, Mr. Kid are perfectly weird.
Yeah. So think about from Russia.
Red Grant. Yeah.
Yeah. So Red Grant was supposed to be this effectively like a super soldier, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fast forward to these two guys. It was also implied that they were gay.
Oh yeah. I got that immediately. Where they were just like holding hands, bro.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I think when they walked off in the sunset, they were holding hands, and then the one comment later, he was like,
"Yeah,
Miss Case is actually pretty hot for a chick."
And then the other guy's looking at him.
I love dick. Don't change it.
But so we meet these henchmen, and it's just fun because one dude is balding and a little pudgy. The other guy's short. It doesn't even look like they're not physical specimens.
Yeah, you see them and you'd be like, these guys aren't gonna kill me.
Yeah. However,
I thought that was one thing is to me is that they killed everyone differently. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the same kind of shit. That Red Grant was just like a physical dude, and he would just fucking murder you. These guys are throwing scorpions or throwing old ladies in the river.
So the first kill, the scorpion.
The scorpion, yeah.
I looked it up because I was like, dog, they put a scorpion down the guy's back and they just straight up died. And I was
it was so fast.
Is that a thing? So I had to look it up if you can actually die from a scorpion bite. And then I even looked up if you could die from or scorpion venom in Africa. Mm-hmm. The answer is yes.
Okay.
You can. So I was like, oh, okay, you could. I don't know what scorpion they found, but they killed the guy with scorpion. Then
immediately too, though, right? That's pretty fast effect of the poison. I think they kill him with a scorpion. But the thing I wrote was I said they were pretty discreet with the first kill. using a scorpion, but then they blow the fuck up the helicopter.
Right.
You know, like they're like, ooh, he died by a scorpion bite. Oh, this guy, we blew his bitch up. All right, so like, what the fuck? All right, you know, cool, I guess. And then I said I was very confused at first. I think because I said, are they just stealing the diamonds? We find out later. Also, I said they're very perfectly weird, but I will say that their theme song kind of gets a little old.
I didn't even know they had a theme song.
Okay, they play a little tune like almost every time they're there.
Every time.
Yeah. So if you rewatch it, I don't know if you will. I don't know if this is one of those Bond films you're like really itching to rewatch.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kill this dentist and his like contact, and they take the diamonds.
Yep. And then they bring it to an old lady like a missionary.
Yeah, and so in the meantime, they're like kind of cutting back and forth between this and Bond talking to M and this dude about the smuggling business.
Yep.
And I said M is a lot more rough with Bond than this one. He's a little more like, I don't want to deal with your shit. Because he said something about the wine. He's like, oh, I'm referring to the original vintage of this sherry or whatever it was. And M's like, whatever, bro. You know what I mean? He gives that like look like, is there nothing you're good at, bitch? Just go fucking find the diamonds.
Which is funny because like I kind of like I saw that too, and I kind of feel like that was kind of just kind of expanding on like, I don't think anyone actually wanted to be there for this movie. You know, like
so? You think so? I think it was like, hey, we got to keep going. This is a train we aren't stopping, brother.
I think this was just a product of, you know, like we already did the review. You Only Live Twice, not my favorite. I know Sean Connery didn't want to fucking be there for You Only Live Twice. They moved on from him, and then now he's back. And I think it was kind of just like, hey, we're gonna get through this fucking movie, and then
it's funny though because like M has like 5 minutes of screen time.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
get over it, bro. You're getting paid probably nothing because it's the 70s and we don't pay anybody. But you know, so
except for Connery.
Except for Connery, that might have also pissed a lot of dudes off. You know, they might have been like, ooh, okay, so we're gonna have no money and no production value because my boy is gonna get half the budget.
But on the flippity flop, like he is the main character. You know, he is
the selling point. You know, people came back to the theaters for him as Bond. Yeah, I get it. But he just had this like disdain for Bond. You know, he said he's just like, is there nothing you're finally something you're not good at, you know, or something like that. Then they show him get the like, I guess it's like the papers on Peter Franks from Moneypenny.
Yep.
And Moneypenny is just fucking simping hard for my boy JB. You know, like she is just like
she's looking old too.
Yeah. She's like, anything, James, bring me back anything, baby. I don't
bring
care.
Me a fucking diamond, you know, attached to a ring. Yeah.
And he's like, whatever. And just drives off. So the funny thing is, he ends up looking for Tiffany Case, I believe.
Yep.
And I was like, I made a note. It's pretty easy to steal identities back in the 70s. Just like, hey, I'm Peter Franks. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, but then they did go through this whole like intricate because she poured him a drink and then she like fingerprinted him. Mm-hmm. And then you know, they later showed that like Q had given him like the fingerprint of Peter Frank. So like it worked out. But yeah, other than that, like she's just like, all right, your fingerprint checks out. You're Peter Frank. Let's fucking talk about smuggling these diamonds.
Yeah. Which was funny because he was like, weren't you a blonde when you came in? And she had like 3 wigs on. Did you notice that? Yeah. She had a blonde wig, then she had a brunette, and a red. And then my dude was like, as long as the, what did he say? Basically carpets match.
He was, as long as the carpet matches the drapes.
I was like, my dude, Bond likes Bush. So I was like, Bond
Who doesn't? Who doesn't like a good bush?
You know, who's not a fan? Nice bush. I'm a fan. Welcome welcome to the party, Bush. So, and I was like, it was a massive thumbprint picture, dude. That thing was like the size of this, as like,
Right.
it's like, yeah, they match. Yeah, they're good. So yeah, she makes sure he's good. They like talk about where the diamond, like where he's got to go with it, and then he talks to Q about the thumbprint thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, by the way, Frank's escaped or something like that, right? He's gone.
Right.
I thought it was
So
weird.
then
That he
Bond
just kind of
goes
tells him, like,
back.
yeah, he just fucking dips, dude. He just
Yeah.
fucking dip sets, and I was like, all right. And then
So then he goes back to Tiffany Case's apartment. Peter Franks is in there, and then there's this like elaborate fucking elevator fight between
I said
him.
This elevator fight is long, and for a smuggler, my dude Franks can throw him.
Yeah.
It was a long fight. It was elaborate and long, way too long. I also want to ask you, would you smuggle diamonds for 50 grand in
today's market? No.
Yeah, today, no. 1971.
No. 1971. I mean, you can keister quite a bit of things, I
was like 50 grand. Maybe it's just me and living in these times, but I was like,
I don't know. Yeah,
bro.
Because I mean, like, did they ever give a price of like? Because this was quite a bit of diamonds that they were smuggling.
Tiffany told Bond, "You're getting paid 50 grand to get him over."
Yeah, but like, did they ever say?
I don't know. I do
much?
not know the value of the diamonds. That's what you're asking. I don't know.
It seemed a little low. Like,
it seemed low. I was like, no, bro. I'm like, I'm good. I'm just gonna go work at 7-Eleven. I'm okay.
Because there was a big thing of diamonds. Like I know what I paid for my wife's ring. So like 50 grand. Like
okay, maybe inflation.
Yeah.
And okay. So the best part, dude. Okay, the best part was like once he kills this dude in the elevator, he's like, oh man, I don't know who the hell I don't know who this guy is. And then she goes and like grabs his wallet.
Yeah.
And did you see what she pulled out? And I said,
it was it was the Playboy Ranch credit card.
Yeah. I was like, what? I was like, oh yes, the key to the Playboy Mansion is the most accurate way to determine one's identity. That is right.
You killed James Bond, but where I got confused, so like, she thought it was Bond, and then they put him in this fucking travel coffin. And then, so now Bond is pretending to be Peter Franks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just saying this is his brother. But, like,
right.
How'd they identify the body? And, like, you can't say Peter Franks and James Bond are, brothers.
Yeah.
So,
and then, like, I mean, like, at the end of I guess, I don't know. I guess theoretically, like, Felix Leiter is handling all this shit anyway, right?
Sure.
So it doesn't fucking matter. But I know what you're saying. It's like, okay, so like it's your brother, and she's like, "Oh, James Bond." And here's what I got weirded out about: how the fuck she know who that is? How does she know who James Bond is?
Apparently, everyone knows who James Bond is.
This motherfucker goes gallivanting around fucking chicks and then strangling them with bras. You need to watch out for this guy.
So, now that we're still talking about Tiffany Case, so Tiffany Case was played by Jill St. John.
Yep.
I just want to highlight she was the first American Bond girl.
She was.
Yep. Which again kind of plays golf club. Which
diversity
kind of plays into this whole like we'll also get into when we get to America the Bond car. But they went pretty heavy America.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah,
they
did. They're like, oh, we didn't make money? Fucking let's go. All
right. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't have fucking Coca-Cola, in here.
Like they just didn't have like tobacco dip or some shit.
Right.
Let's get American Monster. All right, drink it up. And so he's like, he's my brother, and then the Felix Leiter. I just said Felix Leiter rules. Kind of think he didn't rule in this movie.
Because this is a different Felix.
Right. I feel like it's a different actor every time at this point.
Well,
I'm going to be honest. Actors back then kind of looked the same.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
but like
this is probably my least favorite Felix.
it's funny because he has the most.
He had a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
most things
I
are
didn't
good.
hate him. I just like, I know who my favorite Felix is, and
Okay.
this isn't him.
I think he was just kind of a dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just kind of was like, I'm a cop. You know what I mean? Like he really played off the cop vibes, I guess, is really what kind of was weird. I'm a CIA dude. I mean, he's not a cop, but you know what I mean. He is the law. And we don't like the law. But that was to me, I considered that the end of Act One, like the first third of it, is them getting to like Vegas, and from here it gets kind of like I personally think
Weird.
meandering a little bit.
Okay.
I think because it just kind of deals with like I don't even know.
So
Like
so we
'cause from here he goes to the crematory, the funeral home.
yeah, so he hops into a hearse with some cronies, and then they cremate the body, and then they're left with diamonds, and then from there the henchmen put they club bombed, and then they put him in the casket, and they go to burn him, and then like dude is getting burned alive, and it looks like Bond's fucking dead, and then they
Bro,
pull him out.
let me ask you
What?
this: was it fake fire? What was up with that?
No,
Was it real? Because that shit's like 1,000 degrees.
it was real fire, or it was supposed to be real fire.
He's like
Oh.
in the coffin. There's fire engulfed,
Yep.
and he's just like,
And-
oh no.
yeah, and he's like trying to kick out, which I'm like, dog. Like, even if you kick out of the fucking coffin, you're in an oven right now.
Yeah, you're almost safer in that bitch, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
what are you gonna do? And then like from there, like it just like cuts to him being like a
weird.
charred coffin and like being pulled out from the.
It was very weird, and they're like, "You gave us fake diamonds, bro." They were gonna burn like at that point he was burnt.
Yeah, he was dead guy.
At that point, the fire, the temperature, it's wood, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. It was very weird. I agree with you. It was a very weird cut.
So then there's this like weird, there's this weird setup with him and Felix where they're talking. They're gonna get like the diamonds, the real ones, and then like Tiffany Case gonna pick him up, and like him and Tiffany had this talk. I might be getting my head of myself. Oh yeah, because at some point in time, like Bond's in the casino and he's playing craps and some rando.
This is the weird cut, right?
Because some rando named Plenty O'Toole.
Plenty O'Toole. Yeah. So
yeah, Plenty
O'Toole. Here we go. So the weirdest thing is that he like gets knocked out by You forgot he got knocked out by Mr. Wint, Mr. Kid, didn't he? And thrown into the fire.
That.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the cut from there, he just leaves the funeral home, which is in the middle of the desert.
Right.
Excuse me.
To a casino.
To a casino. Okay. And he's in his white jacket. Nice. Looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Looking good, shiny boy.
I'd rock.
And he's doing craps. He's just, and I guess like he decided to like bet high to like draw attention to himself.
Yeah.
And then,
and that was the other thing. They said fake diamonds, fake money. So he had fake money, but he bet high, and then the manager came in.
It was
like, yeah, he was like, you're good. Your credit's good here.
I'm confused. Yeah, I agree. I'm confused as you are. So then Plenty O'Toole is just like, well, she's leaving. This is my favorite part. She's leaving the table. All right. And then she hears a nice little Scottish man talk about betting.
Yeah, because she was with a dude and he wanted to leave, and she was effectively like, "You ain't got enough money for me."
And then she heard this dude bet high, and I was like, Plenty can't resist that Scottish accent, baby.
Yeah.
She turned
That
around,
old fucking guy, with all
old
his
ass
money.
motherfucker, and I was like, okay. And she's like, I'm Plenty, and he's like, we say, yes, you are, or something like that.
Either that, or he's still pretending to be Pierre Franks.
He was staring straight at her tits. Yes, you are. And I'm like, wow. Connery ain't holding nothing back in this one. I'm gonna say. Anyway, so I said bad actress.
Sure.
What do you think? What do you think about Plenty?
She was nothing. Yeah.
You want to know a fun fact about her?
Sure.
She was already casted. All right, already casted, not by her though, not this actress, another actress.
Okay.
And then Cubby Broccoli again comes back to him every time. Producer saw Lana Wood, the actress here that plays Plenty. He saw her in her Playboy spread and said, "Cut that other bitch out. This is the one we want." And that's how she got the role.
Because of her titties.
So he was like, "Actually, boys, actually,
we're taking that girl.
we're taking that one." And that's probably why she's not the best actress. Not her fault. She wasn't supposed to be an actress. You know, it's like,
she had credentials, but it wasn't acting.
we don't give a fuck. All right, get in there and just say stupid shit. And Connery's gonna take you up to the fucking room and undress you.
Yeah, so he takes her to the room, and then he goes to bang this chick, and some randos are in there, and they throw her out the fucking window.
They just chucked this chick. I was like, oh my god!
And she lands in the pool.
Yeah.
And then Bond's like, something about like good aim or something like that. And the other guy's like, I didn't know there was a pool. I'm like,
okay. And then they just cut. Well,
and then like he knocks the one guy out, and then he says something about you're here for the real diamonds. They're just like, shh. And they're just pulling the dude out that he just hit with a club, and they leave. So he kind of figures it out and like goes in his room and he's like, "Hi, Tiffany Case."
He might have figured it out, but I'm not telling you, I didn't figure it out. I was like,
he rolls in and dude's here to bang Tiffany Case, so he does.
Okay, so my point about this, right? I was like, what if like this didn't work out? What if Plenty didn't get thrown out the window? Was she just gonna hear them fuck in the living room while she's waiting to fuck him? She's like, actually, that was my dick. Can we get this chick out of here?
Fun, so
I'd also say, all right, Tiffany, you know what you want, and you went after it. You threw another girl out of the window so you can get that. She's like, you're not getting this. It's my dick. I'm gonna throw you out into maybe not a pool. I don't know. You might live, you might not, but I'm getting them and you're not. And it's bang number 1. I know you're keeping track, right?
It is bang number only, yes.
Bang number only? Or are you only counting girl?
Yeah.
I think they bang about 300 times.
They bang a lot. But
right. Okay. I was just making sure. We're counting like per chick, not per.
This is the only chick that he bangs.
Each entry counts as one time.
Yes, this is the first bang.
Because he's old as fuck, so it's like, all right.
And I think that was deliberate. They're like, you know what? Bond is old as fuck. We're going to give him one girl.
He's a 1.5 woman girl man, all right?
Yeah.
1.5. He was definitely going to fuck Plenty, all right? He was definitely not going to fuck her.
I mean, at that point in time, you'd have to.
How long's it been since Tracy died?
Enough.
Enough. Checks with Charlie. He's good. He's
realistically with Bond, I feel like Tracy died and he probably banged chick probably next day. He took
thank God that cop that found Tracy wasn't a chick.
Right.
Fucking her. You're like, well, I need some grief relief, baby. And then so he bangs her. And they bang again that night. But I wouldn't have known that I've been to Circus. I've been there. This is probably the only Bond location I've ever been to. This is Vegas.
Okay.
It's way more run down these days than it was in
I'm sure.
And very, so he's at Circus. They're setting up this elaborate plan with Felix to like get the diamonds back.
Sure.
And screw over Tiffany, I think. I think you're gonna screw her over, right?
I guess.
Yeah. So she's just kind of like in this plan, and she doesn't know what's happening. So she goes to the car dealer. He gives her this like note. Go to the water balloons. This kid sucks. He's an asshole. Fuck that kid.
Right.
I would spray him in the face with a gun. So then she gets the stuffed animal, which I guess has the diamonds in it.
Yep.
And then like Bond's like, oh, she's gonna meet up with me, bro, because we fucked.
Yeah.
She's
She
not gonna
loves me.
betray me. Felix is, and this is another thing where I didn't like Felix because he was just kind of like, he like never did anything on his own. It was just like whatever Bond said, kind of like was like what we're
Right.
doing. And he's like, no, dude, that's stupid. And Bond's like, trust me. He's like, all right. So then they turns out she didn't. She didn't follow him.
Nope.
And it's after a very weird woman turns into gorilla scene. Tiffany escapes. Bond's waiting for her. She doesn't show up. He goes to her house somehow. Do you have an explanation for that?
Yeah. I have zero explanation, but he shows up and Tiffany shows up to Bond sitting there, and then there's a fucking woman in the pool.
Gratuitous nipple shot is what I got written down.
Yep.
Oh,
and it's Plenty O'Toole.
It's plenty.
And yep, plenty died. And pretty much what he's trying to set up is this idea that like it was gonna be her, you know.
Right.
Like,
they thought that was Tiffany.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Because so far everyone that's touched these fucking diamonds has died.
We'll get into it at the end, but I'll bring it up. But yeah. So and I was like, this director or the cameraman was like, make sure you zoom in on that.
There were a lot of subtle nibble.
You see that right there?
Hey, there was a lot of subtle nibble.
Make sure she wears a white shirt. Just saying. There was a lot of this was I think I read a review where it says this is the sleaziest Bond movie.
Okay.
I kind of agree. Sleaziest. Maybe there's a Roger Moore that's more sleazy. We'll get to it. But like I think so far, yeah. Based on the fact that there's like he undresses Plenty in the room, like her ass is out. It's like see-through, her tits are out. And I'm like, my boy is back in action hard.
It's a product of 71, you know?
The 70s, man. Free love, baby, as Austin Powers said. We'll get into him too. Are you dying over there, Mike?
No, I'm just wiping my nose off camera.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. We have a watcher, but I don't know who it is. If you're watching, chat. Hit us in the chat, dog. Yeah, so gratuitous nipple shot. And then they discover that who she's getting her contact is for the diamonds, and they follow this dude, basically this doctor, the scientist guy,
right,
to a secret lab, and I was like, secret lab in Vegas.
Yep.
Very Austin Powers.
And then, it gets even more Austin Powers.
Yeah, I have a lot of Austin Powers notes.
Because, I feel like most of this movie can kind of be fast forward. But
oh yeah. What'd you think about the with our profession, or my ex profession, yours current, the radiation shields? What'd you think about that?
Hey,
make sure you wear that, bud.
Yeah.
Wear that shield.
Well, I'm sorry. We'll just chalk it up to yes, movies.
70s, bro. 70s.
Sure. Make sure you wear your shield. If you're not wearing your shield, you're getting radiation.
You can't be too careful with radiation, buddy. I think it was the direct quote.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but this is not the same. This is not related.
So Bond is escaping in this fucking weird Land Rover with hands.
I was like, why is there a moon landing set in this lab?
And then can we just call out the Bond car was a 1971 Mach 1 Mustang. Yeah.
Fastback, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mach 1 fastback. Yep. Looks good, I'll say.
If you're into 71, sure.
I know you're not, right? You're not a fan?
You're
a Mustang guy. What do you think? What do you think about this one? Guys, this is your time to shine, bro.
I'm actually not as much of a Mustang fan as people
as your dad.
But yes. So my dad has a 1961 Mach 1. Sorry, not 1961, 1969 Mach 1 Mustang.
He still has it.
Yep, still has it.
Okay.
and eventually, I'll keep that motherfucker. Like, I'm not going to sell it. 69 is the superior Mach 1. 69, 70, same body style. 71, 73 gets a little weird.
I understand the point of the movie. It came out in 71. They're gonna have the new one.
Sure, the
You know what I mean?
newest.
Like they're gonna have they're gonna have the newest model. It's just what it is. I think
It made sense that it was Mustang.
it was America. Yeah. It's
Yep.
America.
Well,
America.
I'm just saying it made more.
Driving
It made more sense that it was Mustang over a Camaro or over a Chevelle.
We got an American Bond
Or
girl,
not
driving
Chevelle,
an American car,
Challenger.
in an American city, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I thought I like red cars though, so it kind of like was like,
Yeah.
nice.
It was a good looking car.
I like Tracy's car. I like Tracy's car in the last one because it was red though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But we'll get to it. We'll get to it when we rank the cars because we've been ranking the cars. But so that kind of leads. The moon landing though was just what, that car. Okay, because there was a car chase after that, right?
Yep.
And I was like, is this just literally to make me like comedy relief? The comment I have. All right, you ready? I just remembered.
Yep.
He's running through the set, and the dude was like, "Hey, there's a fucking dude running through this. Like, we gotta catch him because he broke in." And the guy acts like he's still in zero gravity. He's like, "No way!" And he like reaches for Bond, and Bond just sprints past him. Huh? You know?
I don't know.
No words. Yeah. So after that, the car chase is very boring, and then all of a sudden he gets in the car with Tiffany, and they're in her Mustang, and they do another car chase.
Yep.
What do you think about that car chase?
I kind of chalked it up to filler.
I kind of had the same feel. It was kind of like
because eventually this is all trying to eventually get him up to the top of the hotel.
Yeah.
And then he gets up there and it's Blowfield. Well, there's two of them, but can we?
So, well, I know you want to get to it, but we got to talk about the two wheel.
The two wheel. Oh,
we got before.
I had it in my comments too.
Because this is like the car chase, and then he's going through the parking lot, yada yada.
I said,
kind of boring and
I just said the car drives sideways. Like it was one of those things, and like we'll eventually we're going to get to some really when we get later in the Bond films,
more.
There's shit that you're like, this will never happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he effectively had Tiffany slide. Hey, shift your weight.
I think he says lean over.
Yeah.
Shift your weight or something like that.
Yeah. And he's driving sideways through a fucking alleyway.
It's like a 30-degree, 45-degree angle. And I'm like, and then, okay, so first of all, you're like, okay, horse shit. He goes in this alleyway, it's that big. Okay.
Right.
And then the worst part is the fact that in the middle of it, they flip sides. So instead of going like this, now they're going like this in the same tiny ass alleyway, right? And then they come out and I'm like, huh? I get it. You might have had only a budget to do this and that, and you want it, but why even do different sides? You want to do something silly? Go ahead. But I just honestly thought that chase could just not had that and have been a lot better.
I've got no comment.
We're at the hotel. We're at the hotel, and Felix is like, "We got dudes out here. They're gonna listen to you. Fuck Tiffany. Try and keep it down." But we got dudes here, and he's like, "Whatever." And he leaves, and he leaves, and some reason decides the only way up is to ride a elevator on the outside of it.
Yeah, on the top of the elevator. Yeah. So he gets to the top, and it's Blofeld.
Shocker.
And there's two of them.
Were you surprised?
No.
That was Blofeld? Was it a good surprise, or you just kind of felt like it was?
Okay, so honestly, I'm over Blofeld at this point.
Okay.
Also, I'm over the fact
Don't worry, you got more Blofeld come down the road, but anyway.
Why does Blofeld have hair?
This is all of a sudden he's got hair.
Yeah.
You know, like at least okay. So I had my gripes with Tevi Savalas playing him last movie, and he
was probably the best Blofeld.
Yes. You know, I was like, wow, we changed actors and didn't even acknowledge it, right?
Can we just so his name's what? Tevi Savalas?
Tevi, I think it's Teddy. Tevi. I think it's TVV.
Tevi
Savalas. Savalas. Yeah.
He was going to come back if it was Daniel Lazenby.
George.
I said what I said. He would come back for Lazenby, but he wouldn't come back for Connery.
This is kind of wild, though, but I feel like this movie would have been so much better with Lazenby. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that changed because Lazenby didn't come back.
I agree.
A lot of things that changed for the worse. So I don't know why he has hair. I will say, I think this actor has a lot of charisma. Mike is gone again.
No, I'm still here.
It has a lot of charisma, and he would have been good. I wish he just would have shaved his head.
So far, like Blofeld originally had a weird scar, and then it went away, and then now he has hair. Like, can we please just like have like one Blofeld, or at least like a look? Yeah.
There's two of them, and they're just like. So I will say, because I did enjoy his campy performance. Oh, Mr. Bond! Oh, my plan! And he's just so like egotistical and arrogant, and then like that is a Blofeld feeling. I just thought that I agree. Why not have the same actor? But so Bond decides here to kick a cat. He decides, fuck it, I'm kicking this cat. He kicks a cat.
He punted it, and then he shot the guy. And then he shot the wrong Blofeld because there was another cat.
When he shot him, what did you think?
At this point in time, I assumed he shot the wrong Blofeld.
Well, he shot him, and then he goes like he gets shot. He goes, oh, like a second later, oh, and I was like,
again, this was a very campy movie. You know, like it was.
I just don't understand, bro. Like you're in the studio, and you're like, I need you to die a little slower.
I need you to die a little more theatrically.
Yeah, I need you to hands up, and then pat. Oh, you know, and then he's. But he had a good line where he was like, "You had the right idea, Bond," and he goes like, "But the wrong pussy."
Right.
Okay. I did forget. He had a good quip when they threw. I have it written down. Okay, hold on. All right, yeah. When they threw Plenty out of the window way back, and the guys had the gun on him and stuff, right? Because they like had him gun up. He said, you caught me with more than my hands up.
Yeah, he was trying to fuck Plenty.
Okay, dude. No one asked you about your boner, dude.
Dude, at this point in time, Bond might as well be 76. Like, the fact that he's got a boner.
25, bro. I'm trying to fuck her, dude. I'm going to die soon. He's just like, caught me more with my hands up, bro. See? Look at that. I think, boner. All right. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. So he dies ridiculously. And I think this is kind of the transition into the final act. Okay.
Right.
He's like, hey man, if I had a plan, I'd fucking tell you. Now get out. And I'm like, what is the point of this meeting?
Yeah, just sent him away.
Yeah. He's like, cool, man. I'm trying to fucking sleep. All right, now get out of here. And he sends him in the elevator.
So we didn't really talk about it, but the whole time, so it's Blofeld, but Blofeld is pretending to run the White Hotel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then with Bond and Felix, they're like, okay, well,
Willard White. The White House.
Who?
Willard White.
So they're
and then it's called like the White House is like the casino.
Yeah, so they're like, okay. So they find this like dude ranch mansion out in the desert, is where this guy is stashed. and Connery goes out there and he meets Bambi and Thumper.
We're gonna get there, dude. Because you missed the whole spot, and it's Mr. Wint and Mr. Kid trying to kill him.
Okay.
So he goes in the elevator, gets gassed out.
Okay.
Mr.
Oh
Wint,
yeah.
Mr. Wint and Mr. Kid pick him up, and this is where I was like, at first I had no idea who the hell they were working for, but I guess they're working for Blofeld. I guess.
Sure.
They pick him up and they're driving him out, and they're just laughing the whole fucking time. They're driving this dude out. They're like, "Oh,
And
they
they-
got this motherfucker!" And then they put him in a pipe.
Yep. And instead of just killing the motherfucker, they put him in a pipe. Bond, of course, escapes.
He talks to a rat.
Yep.
And I will say this sets up the end though. There's a bottle of I guess it's aftershave or cologne that's broken in the car. And then Bond is like, he's like, I smell like shit. Is it you, Mr. Rat? And he's like, no, it's me. Whatever. And then some random ass machine comes after him, and he just like, oh yeah, hot wire. Oh, there goes my mouse. He's like, oh, hot wire, done. I'm not dead.
Right.
Anymore. I'm not in any danger. Sorry. Once he escapes that, it looks like he meets up with Felix again. There's a lot of Bond traveling far distances without even just like shown, like the one from the funeral house, and then this one where he like randomly escapes his pipe and then just meets up with Felix in Vegas again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, I'm back. Yeah, they try to kill me, but they suck. And then they're like, oh yeah. So he does the voice changing from Q to call Blofeld, because he discovers at that point that Blofeld's been Willard White. Voice changing, and he is the guy that no one's seen in like 5 years or some shit.
3 years.
3 years, yeah, it's a long time. And so they're like, "Oh, let's call him," and he's like, "Oh, my henchman. Yeah, Willard White's fine. He's in his summer house." And then like Felix is like, "Homie's summer house is like 3 miles up the road."
Right.
Let me tell you this, Mike. Why in the fuck would no one check this dude's fucking summer house if he's been missing for 3 years?
Well, so I think they were alluding to the fact that he wasn't missing. He was just aloof.
Yeah, so that was the whole point, right? I guess like he's like this fucking really powerful, rich dude in Vegas. He's been missing for 3 years. Let us not check his summer house ever, because he's probably just sitting there. I don't know. It felt very weird that Felix knew exactly where he was and never thought to check it. And this is where Bond's like, I'm gonna go by myself. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna go hang out with Bambi and Thumper. And you're right. You can take it from here. Bambi and Thumper roll up.
All right.
What are your thoughts on them?
It got into this like weird, like these two girls are there to like make sure nobody fucks with Willard White, and Bond is getting his ass kicked by these two women.
Yeah, he is.
And then he eventually gets in the pool and drowns them.
Bro, okay, yes. He's getting his ass kicked, and he's underwater. They get him underwater. You know, two apparently strong ass women kicking his ass, pushing him underwater. All of a sudden, he's like, my bad. Actually,
I'm actually on top of this.
Yeah, actually, I was just waiting for Felix to roll up. I got you. Because I was like, what? When did the tables turn? You know? I thought they were fucking ridiculous.
And they rescue Willard White, and then they have this scene where he's looking at all of Willard White's like all of his properties, and they say something about like the oil rig in Baja or some shit like that. It's like, I don't own that. So then
let me ask. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so so they rescue Willard White. He goes like, they take him into custody. And they're talking about the fucking laser, and apparently he's a genius with lasers. Whatever.
Allegedly.
Sure. And then they show Q and Tiffany at the casino. Okay, and my dude's like cheating on the slots. He just like fucking has this ring and he's just winning everything. And I'm like, she's like, oh, Mr. Q, you can help me out. I'm like, how the fuck she even know him? Second of all, Blofeld walks around with a cat in his hand and she recognizes him. I don't think she would because she's never met him. 1. 2, she decides to follow him. Why? I don't know. Gets in the car with him. He's in drag.
Yep.
What? What is happening? And then he goes, okay, so then they show Willard White talking with Felix and Bond, and they're like, oh, I got these satellite companies I own. Let me check them out, right? And my favorite was, he's like, contact this company, the guys. He's like, the guy's like talking. He's like, hey, everything's good, Mr. Willard White. Everything's great. He's like, premature first stage separation. Been there before.
Right.
It's not the best. What is Blofeld's plan? Tell me, Mike. At this point, tell me.
His plan is to
Tell me,
use
Mike.
these diamonds to make a big laser, and then he's going to he fucked up some nukes in China, and
Dude,
which
yeah. Okay, which homie gets caught on fire?
can we just say I will say that the visual effects for this movie were not good.
Yeah, it just glows red. The dude just happens to be by the Chinese missiles, just like he's like, oh, and he's like all of a sudden he's on fire. Poor bastard.
Right.
My dude just stand and watch. Just stand and watch. On fire. Fuck it. Fucking terrible. I don't know his plan. Okay, so then, all right, he says, I said, how convenient that Blofeld picks the one building that I guess Willard White doesn't own, the one in Baja, California. On the mini map, which is very Austin Powers like.
Right.
They find out it's Baja, California. So I guess Blofeld's mission is to blow up the missiles and then make world peace. He basically says, I want to disarm the world and then have them like not have nuclear weapons. And like, so is he a good guy? Is my real question. Is Blofeld the good guy in this movie? He wants no more nuclear power. He wants to destroy all the nuclear missiles and have like nobody have like, world destroying power. And we're supposed to be like, no. Bond. Stop
we need
him.
this.
We need the missiles. We need to destroy other countries that hate us and have different opinions on cheese. Okay? And that's the way it works. So I think it was crazy that let me skim my notes. Okay. So Blofeld wants disarmament and peace on Earth. That is a direct quote.
I guess he's the hero.
I guess Bond's a villain. All right, wrapping this up. Bond's a villain, and that's why he got recast. So is Roger Moore. So they're on his oil rig when this is all happening, and Tiffany's there because she clearly ran into his limo. She got into his limo as he's in drag, and just taken to his.
And now
rig.
she's working for him, or she always worked for him. It's hard to. I don't know.
I agree. She's there in a bikini. Nice. So she's there.
Nice.
He's like, oh, this cassette tape, and he fucking ejects it, right?
And he puts the other one in, and then he
puts the real one in Tiffany's asshole. Nice.
Yep.
And then so let me just say this, okay? What happens after he puts it in her bottoms in the bikini?
So I know that he like disarms a fucking guy, and then she runs up to him, and she's like, "Hey, that fucking tape that you slid in my butthole, I popped it in." And he's like, "You fucking twat."
So let me ask you this. Right, you are correct. So Blofeld's like, frisk this bitch and search him. Make sure he doesn't have anything weird, right? And you're like, oh no. That's why he slipped the cassette up her butthole, right?
Right.
Okay. But like, I don't know, 5, 6 seconds later, he's like, I'm gonna knock this balloon up and I'm gonna knock this guy's gun out, I'm gonna run away, I'm gonna escape, and then everything's gonna blow up and we're all gonna be happy hunky dory. Why in the fuck would you even put the goddamn cassette in her asshole? If you were gonna break away, cause a scene, blow up shit, and never even get to the point of being searched. He never was searched, dude. He was just,
I think he thought eventually he would be. I don't know.
This whole like you put the wrong way into what could have been avoided. You know what I mean? Like, this movie, is all I gotta say. It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, okay. So now they're like, oh Jesus Christ, you put the wrong thing in.
The balloon goes up. Felix flies in with helicopters.
My favorite part, though, is when the scientist is like, dude, we gotta stop Blofeld. We gotta stop. This shit's insane. And he tells him, like, no, go fuck yourself. You go back to your post and you keep, like, blowing missiles up. And then, like, immediately turns around and calls the dude. He's like, yeah, prepare my escape vehicle. I'm leaving.
Right.
It was just like, yeah, you stay in your post, but I'm getting the hell out of here. Felix rolls up because the balloon.
Yep. And then Connery takes out the crane operator and he's like pretty much just like Bam Bam, like fucking slamming Blofeld against the wall.
Yeah, he hit the crane.
I don't remember. Did Blofeld ever get away?
No, his thing blows up. But we don't see him die. But his little Batho sub is what it's called. He's like slinging it into the wall and then it like blows up.
I hope we're done with Blofeld.
Well, you've seen Spectre. Anyway, so I know. Different. Yeah. What?
That's a reboot.
Yeah, it's okay. So I said Blofeld dies, ? The thing blew up. And then like Tiffany and then Bond like jump in the water. Did you notice this weird cut again?
Yeah.
It went from them jumping in the water to like this cruise ship.
Yep.
It was like, boop. All right, everything's good. We're done here. Move on.
And then we go on the cruise ship, and then my two homies, Mr. Kidd and Mr.
Wint. Yeah.
Wint.
Wint. W-I-N-T.
All right. They roll up and they go to kill him, and that's when Bond says some weird thing about wine or.
Whatever wine he was saying. He was like, "Oh, I wish it was a claret," and he was like, "Oh yeah, our stock is low," and he's like, "Whatever you just gave me is a claret."
And that's how he knew that they were trying to kill him, and then he sets.
I smelled the aftershave before too. So he says like I could smell that aftershave from, which I guess it was a reference to the rat scene.
Then he sets Mr. Fucking Kidd on fire. And then he like falls like overboard, and then they're trying to blow him up, and then he like attaches the bomb. He like gives him a wedgie.
Yeah, I don't know, like full Nelson. Yeah, he's like whoop, yeah,
woo, yeah. And then he puts the bomb on him, and he throws him overboard and goes off. And that's the end of the movie. And I'm glad we're there. But you know what? Here's what I'm gonna say about this movie. As goofy as this fucking movie is, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
And I ranked it probably higher than it probably should be.
I was gonna say, okay, so I thought a few last notes. Tiffany just kind of hanging out watching Bond get fucking wrecked, and that the dude's choking him out, and she's just like, oh shit, and she did nothing until the end, right? 2. I had no idea any of the dishes that they were describing.
Right.
No idea. He's like, oh, we got this. We got that. And I was like, sounds great. Sounds great, Mr. Kidd. Send it to me. And then did no one on the ship hear the explosion? It's like, I was like, everyone's like, yeah, it's normal. Fireworks, bro. Fireworks. But yeah, goofy. very goofy, but I kind of am. I'm curious because I'm kind of with you on the probably higher than it should be kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. This
but-
movie, like, and when you said earlier in the pod, like, if you watch it again, I don't know why, but I would watch this movie again. I don't. So, like,
it's different. I think it's because it's different. You know what I mean? Like, because like if you look at this with like, okay, so like Doctor No and Thunderball are very similar. They're in the Caribbean. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Goldfinger is its
Kentucky.
own thing. I don't know, man. I just feel like it being in Vegas and the kind of goofiness it has, it feels different. I would say it's a very different vibe, obviously, from Honor
Right.
Majesty's. It's a completely different vibe. And I think it's on purpose
Right.
to kind of reset what they thought didn't work. Excuse me. I'm burping like a motherfucker. Oh, here's my motherfucker. I got some bits and bobs. Want some bits and bobs? A little bit of trivia.
All right.
So apparently during the set, Connery dated both Jill St. John and Lana Wood plenty on set.
Nice.
Legend. That's all I gotta say. Legend. When this was released, it broke the record for 3-day grossing in the box office. Crazy.
Cool.
I don't know, man. I just think like I guess just having Connery back was enough to get everyone to just fucking see it the weekend it came out. If you watch it back, the real Blofeld always refers to Bond as Mr. Bond. The fakes always say 007. And then that's pretty much it. We did the Rotten Tomatoes and so my final thoughts is better than I thought.
Yeah. And
better than I remember, I guess.
So again, I've seen this movie once before, and
there's everything else. Okay.
Maybe I'm just a contrarian. I know Chris Iago is questioned if I am
so you're a
contrarian. I very much enjoyed On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
I mean, I did too. I think okay. So I have up here. I don't remember your rankings of the movie.
I have On Her Majesty my second.
I think you have Thunderball and then On Her Majesty.
Yep.
Okay, I got it right. Mine is On Her Majesty's and then Goldfinger and then Thunderball.
Yep.
That's not gonna change. To be fair. Actually, no. Yeah. Actually, let me see what I wrote. Right. I actually wrote. Whoops, shit. As I watched it, I wrote down here my ranking. So, because this is the end of Sean Connery.
Good.
I think we should kind of solidify our rankings of his movies, you know?
Yeah.
They're obviously they're going to be judged against everyone else's, but like, as his, I have, I got to find it. I'm a bit intoxicated. Okay, so it's the same. I got Goldfinger number 1.
Okay.
Thunderball 2. I have this as 3.
Okay.
It feels weird, but it feels right.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it feels right. It feels like I feel like Goldfinger, you have like Connery at his like serious, like this, and then Diamonds, he's like I'm Bond. Okay, like at this point, it's been about 10 years. Like I am Bond. You tried it with another dude, but you came back to me.
So you have this, and then you have On Her Majesty is
officially I have On Her Majesty's as 1. And and then Goldfinger is 2.
Okay. All right. So
I think if I did official, I would do On Her Majesty's 1, Goldfinger 2, Thunderball 3, and then this is 4.
All right.
If that's okay with you, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because so I have Thunderball as 1.
Okay.
I have On Her Majesty's as 2. I have Goldfinger as 3, and I have this as 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny because I like Dr. No. It just sucks because it's because it's the first one. You know what I mean? Like it has a lot of problems, but it's just because it's the first fucking movie and it's made in 1962. But like
and it's funny too because like I have I have this right above You Only Live Twice.
Uh-huh.
And then I have Dr. No, and then I have From Russia with Love, which From Russia I never felt that movie. It just wasn't
You
for
Only
me.
Live Twice as my bottom.
The more I think about it, I don't know why I have You Only Live Twice so high.
My problem with that one is it starts off great. It really does. New locale, Japan. It's cool. Everything's new, but the ending is just really, really rough.
And I feel like this movie, like it was funny because we dogged this movie, like going through, like if you listen back, and that's why I really tried to hold it back, because like there are some really weird fucking things that happened during this movie, but like I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, I would 100% watch this movie again. I probably will.
So I think it's like it was a weird place, right? Like Lazenby, honestly, I think he worked,
he
the
did.
movie, and it was a super serious movie. I mean, his fucking wife died, dude. She got murdered, like
Right.
It was a super serious, and then they had an option. They had a decision to make, right? And they had a decision to go, he's gonna go vengeance, super serious. This is a fucking Bond movie, right? And then you're like, "Oh, hear me out." He fucks like 300 chicks in Vegas, and they're like, "Say no more, dude." Like, but like, it did well. The fact that if they didn't get Connery back, I don't think this film, the plot as it is, would not have worked.
And it's gonna take like 8 or 9 more films, but we will eventually get that weird fucking like vengeance movie. And
it's kind of like every now and then, every 10 films, I'd say this one, and like you're foreshadowing to License to Kill, and then I'd say Quantum. Honestly, Quantum, is a revengeance. You know what I mean? And a vengeance one, and I think that's it. I think that's the only ones that are vengeance.
But this movie,
so isn't it weird? It's like every 10, they're like, you know what, Bond needs to go on a fucking killing spree. What do you think? What do you think? And you're like, yeah. In Vegas, where he fucks a Playboy chick. Fuck it. Throw her in there. Actually, he doesn't even fuck her. Fuck it. Do it.
Throw her out the fucking balcony.
In like, it's funnier because it's his last one. That's
kind of.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like.
We don't have to make a decision, but are we going to watch the unofficial?
Oh, I didn't plan to.
Because
do you want to?
I think we should.
You want to? Okay.
So here's the thing, like, and we will probably, and I'm also deciding we probably are going to do an episode after No Time to Die. Just to kind of talk about the series as a whole, and
yeah, sure, that's fine.
talk about the Bonds. I am not sold on Connery, so now again, like you and I are relatively young, like we weren't around in the fucking 60s, I totally get that Connery is, the original Bond. Connery's not my Bond,
Right.
I am so at this point in time, I am so over Connery. Now which is funny, because like I went into this movie already over Connery, because like I like Lazenby.
Because he was already gone.
And then I'm like, okay. Yeah, I gotta get through this movie, and it was a lot more pleasant. As goofy as this fucking movie was, it was a lot more pleasant than I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, okay, which
So I'll say it's harder. It is hard when the first actor is a role of anything.
Sure.
And then like the fact of him getting replaced. And like, the Bond series is in a weird, it's a weird situation, right? So a lot of times if something like someone ages out, right? Like Indiana Jones for sake.
Right.
You know, once Harrison Ford gets too old, they just say we're done making Indiana Jones films. Bond is like, we'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's weird because imagine being in 1969 and you're like, they're still making these without Connery? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we're going to try with this Lazenby dude I never even heard of. And then you're like, oh, okay, it was weird, but they're bringing Connery back, so that's cool. And then now they're like, but we're doing somebody else? You know, like, we're going to try again? And like, I get it. And I understand where you're at, where you're kind of like, yeah, this is kind of a point where you're like, what else can you do with him as Bond? At like Connery as Bond is like, I think with Diamonds is kind of the you have shaped the character. You have,
because what was his unofficial movie? You Only Die Twice.
It's Never Say Never Again, and it's Thunderball.
Yeah,
retold Thunderball. Yeah,
I have watched that movie, and I don't remember hating it.
If I remember correctly, I mean, one, it's like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's old as fuck.
He's old, but the other thing is that like it's in the 70s, so compared to being in 1965 or when it was, there's a lot more like money and production value that can be done to a movie, so it's probably a lot like cleaner and like crispy. I can't remember much of it, but I don't remember it being bad at all. We can watch it, and it came out the same year as I want to say The Spy Who Loved Me, maybe one of the Roger Moore ones, right? But yeah,
I am so excited to eventually get into Roger Moore because Roger Moore is, from what I remember, he's going to take us on a fucking ride. Like
it is something, dude.
There are some movies that I remember, like I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm like,
this is the end of an era. We are at the end of an era right now. There
were movies that I thought Roger Moore was the Bond, and there were movies that I'm like, okay, it's scratch grab. It's nothing more than a cash grab. You know?
Oh yeah. There are a few that were just, especially towards the end. I think. So let's review some. Why don't we just review some other stuff, right?
Okay.
Rank some other stuff. I got the good old fashioned villain ranking, buddy. You mentioned it before. We got Blofeld. Well, I want to say your villains, I don't really have them written down, but mine are Blofeld on Her Majesty's Secret Service, number 1.
Okay.
Goldfinger, number 2. Red Grant, 3. Blofeld from You Only Live Twice, 4. Dr. No is 5. And Largo from Thunderball is 6.
I'd probably put him as 5. He's the worst Blofeld for me. Like, he did nothing.
So what's your ranking? I want you to say it so when I listen back, I can just write it down. How's that? That way I can have a record of what you say.
I don't even know.
No? Nothing? Oh, you're not even helping me out. Okay.
I know. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Bond girl. So
Bond girls, yeah. What do you got? Tiffany Case, Plenty O'Toole. I didn't know if to put Bambi and Thumper or are they actually just henchmen. You know.
We'll just say Tiffany Case.
Okay.
I mean, she was
Plenty's part of it.
Sure. She's somewhere in the middle.
So far, I have your top 2. I have Tracy as 1.
Yep.
And Domino's 2.
And Domino's from Thunderball, right?
Yes.
I'd probably put her 3, but like, there's definitely a gap. Like, what I didn't like was this whole like damsel in distress kind of thing. Like, whenever he fucking like fought people, she's like in the corner, like against a wall, like, ooh, you know.
For Tiffany.
Yeah. You know, and like for someone who's in like the diamond smuggling business, like you would think that she would kind of just be a little more people getting fucked up, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think she started off really strong, and at the end, she kind of just turned into a Bond girl, if you know what I mean. Like a typical like, oops, I have a gun. I'm in a bikini. I can't fire it.
Right.
But honestly, if I'm looking back at my rankings, I got Tracy 1.
Yep.
Pussy is 2. Aki and Kissy as 3. Domino's 4. For Marshall Love Chicks is 5. And Honey Rider is 6. Where's your Honey Rider on your list, Mike? But I think I'll put Tiffany Case as like 2. Right now, Tracy is she's up here, and then like Tiffany's like down here, but she's pretty good too. Like I think the fact that she's like she holds her own until the end, until the oil rig shit. She's pretty good. Okay, I think so. That's what I got. What about cars? We talked about it briefly, but what do you got with ranked against everything else? 1971 fastback, Mach 1 Mustang. What do you got?
Probably number 3. So obviously DB5 is number 1.
DB5,
and then I like that the Toyota.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just such a.
What about Lazenby's DBS?
Ooh, yeah. Fine. Let me amend this. Number 4. Because I did like the DBS.
I'm surprised. I thought this was gonna be number 2 for you. I thought the DB5 is the DB5,
Yeah.
But I thought Red Mustang.
Yeah,
Mach
but I mean,
1, bro. I thought.
Yeah, but me personally, I have a Japanese sports car.
Yeah, but I just thought maybe, growing up. But I think this is we might have this. I think I have this as 3 to me.
Okay.
Toyota's 4. But the DBS is DB5, DBS, Mustang, Toyota.
Yeah, I would say DB5, Toyota, DBS, and then this.
There weren't many gadgets in this one, my friend. What do you think?
Fingerprints is kind of all that. Oh, also, we didn't talk about it. At some point in time, when some guy was like searching him, and they put their hands in his pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Like came out with like a fucking mousetrap or some shit like that.
I was gonna say, was it a mousetrap?
It was the weirdest fucking thing. Like I don't know.
Who holds that? You know what? Some guy's gonna put her hand right here.
Let me put a fucking mousetrap
this is a good idea,
in my fucking pocket.
Then again, Q's a genius, so he knew. He knew that's where people search. I agree. The gadgets in this one were very, very sad. Sad is a good word, right?
Yeah.
Lackluster. Sure. I want to say 4th, just above From Russia with Love.
Okay.
Because Honor Majesties had like nothing. Dr. No had like nothing. From Russia with Love had the briefcase, and I think this is just above that. Not great. Kind of sad. I think Roger Moore era brings a lot more gadgets to the table. We will get to that when it happens. Another thing I had was, what about the Henchman? I know you mentioned the Blofeld problems, but what about Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd?
Number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah, I don't know why these two fucking dudes, like, they did it for me. They fucking did it for me.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
What was it? Was it just they were weird?
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know if it was comic relief. I don't know if it was just the goofiness. Like honestly, I think they made the movie higher than if they weren't there, this movie would probably be ranked a little lower.
No. So it was funny because did they work for Blofeld? They did, right?
I'm gonna assume yes, but this movie was so choppy. It's so hard to tell.
It was very. I feel like for a while they were on their own, independent ownership kind of thing. Like we're just fucking killing everyone. We don't like diamonds and anyone that touches them, and we're gonna fucking kill them and be gay about it, you know. And that was them, and I was cool with it. And then all of a sudden, like they're taking Blofeld's trash out, you know, like
Right.
maybe they were friends. They were very, very, very delightfully weird. Is the best way to describe them. Definitely a breath of fresh air in the villain kind, the henchman kind of category. I do think I like Oddjob just a bit more, but I think these guys are two to me. There wasn't really anything wrong with them. They're just weird. The only thing wrong with them is that they just kind of popped up everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they had that plot armor where they're just like they are just everywhere. But they were definitely, they had their own theme song. When you watch it again, because you did say you want to watch this again.
I will. Yeah.
Pay attention to when they show up, and there is a song, a little melody that plays every time they are on scene. But I think that kind of shows the fact that the producers thought that these guys were like, you know, good. They're like, we're gonna have a song for them. I will say, okay, so funny thing about that. Before we, you know, whatever. The Bond song, the Bond theme song, I didn't hear it at all. Did you?
I heard it initially.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, like in I don't know, On Her Majesty's maybe did a little bit, but like I know definitely You Only Live Twice. Like some of the action sequences, yeah, definitely You Only Majesty's. On Her Majesty's when he rolled up on the fucking Paz Gloria, and there was like guns blazing and shit. They played like the, you know, like they played that, and he was just like, and he's like fucking dudes up. I don't think I heard it once in this movie.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of like when he goes to Tiffany's house. There's a piano version of Diamonds Are Forever, and I think they played a lot of that. You know, but they didn't really play the Bond fucking you up song. You know, which is sad. I love that song. It's a good song. But yeah, so this is the Connery era is over.
Good.
Thoughts because it is the era, it's done.
Yep.
What do you think? First era done, even though there's a little weird gap in the middle towards the end. But you know,
I mean, so far, is what is.
This is your opinion without knowing what's coming up. You know, you have seen.
I know it's
six Connery Bonnery films. You don't know that he's gonna die of some bullshit later on, but
I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the next one.
Do you think you'd be sad if do you think if like it's 1971, you'd be like, oh my fucking god, they're gonna make another movie without Connery?
At this point in time, like that's really hard for me to say because like. At this point in time, I'm just so ready for Connery to be done. Mm-hmm. You know, but like, I don't know if I were, you know, back in 1971, you know, how old am I? 37? I'm 37 in 1971, you know, if I'm like, I don't know if
that's a weird thing to think about, though. If you're like 30s and you're getting into Bond, kind of weird. You know what I mean? You know, I will get into it later because I feel like this has an effect and an effect on like people's opinion and perception of certain films is 100%, in my opinion, persuaded by your age and like time of life, if you will. You know, like and we'll get into it because the, you know, Casino when I was 18. Pierce when I was in my teenagers, you know, so like, but like none of these are like right now as like 36 and 37, you know, imagine past tense, you know what I mean? Like imagine like you were 30 and you saw like Dr. No.
Kind of well, weird. I'm just saying now,
it's kind of weird.
If I was 37 when I saw Diamonds Are Forever, I don't know how I would feel about, you know, the series moving forward.
Exactly.
Like if I'm excited I'm like, maybe I'll never watch this series again.
It's
I
done.
don't
It's
know.
cool. That was cool. That was fun. We forgot to rank something like.
What's that?
I think we kind of did, but theme songs.
Number 1.
Number 1. What's number 2?
Goldfinger.
Number 2. What about number 3?
Oh, they're all number 3.
They're all number 3. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. That was great. I agree with you. So, did you give me your official rankings on Connery films? Did you already do that?
So I didn't, but sorry. I can.
And then I want your ranking of Bond's actors. It's easy.
We have 2 so far.
Right, it's easy right now. But we gotta establish a like precedent, you know what I mean? Like,
all right. So right now, my Connery movies are Thunderball, Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, You Only Live Twice, Dr. No, From Russia with Love.
Okay.
And then of the Bonds so far, that's so tough. Like, because you have 6 films and you have 1 film.
I know.
Because
I look at it as this, right?
I will go with Connery and Lazenby. You know, Connery 1, Lazenby 2, but like I very much enjoy Lazenby. You know, I
think if Lazenby was in more films, he would
could have been better.
Oh, yeah, of course. Given the fact that he wasn't even an actor. You know?
Yeah, he did fried chocolate.
But I think at this point in the history, I think you just kind of have to go Connery than Lazenby. That's just the way.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like he is Bond. He came back, and like when he came back, it was like Connery's back, baby. Let's go. And everyone went to the theaters. And you mentioned earlier that he was a little more aggressive in this one, a little more sexualized. Right. And I think I personally think that's Connery being like, Bond doesn't get married. No. Bond does this shit. You know what I mean? Like Bond is like a fucking dickhead and like goes to Vegas and fucks everything. You know, and I get it. Bond's dick is forever. We get it. You know, and but I definitely think he is Bond at this point, and there's no doubt. I don't hate Lazenby. I love the movie, clearly. Number 2 on the list. I just think that what was never known.
What's number 1 on your list?
What's number 1? Goldfinger.
Okay.
What is a shame is that we'll never know. That's what a shame is. Because 7 films, man, that puts him like pretty much all of Roger Moore's era. You know what I mean? Like that's he is like, he would probably be Bond at that point. You know what I mean? Like he would be Bond. But we'll never know. And it is what it is. History is history for a reason. And I think it's gonna be hard to top Connery. It will be. Trust me.
Okay.
Any final thoughts, Mike? Before we wrap this whole thing up, it's been a long episode.
Let's wrap her up.
You know Connery doesn't wrap her up. Well, I guess we will though. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. This is James Bonding. We're Gin and Sofa. We usually talk about nothing. We drink and we bullshit. But
that's what we're good for.
That's what we're good for. Not much. But we've been doing a James Bond retrospective called James Bonding. We're on Diamonds Are Forever. Next time we'll be Live and Let Die, the first starring Roger Moore. If you're first time checking us out, whether it's live stream, which it looks like it's not, if it's later on, sure. First time checking us out, find us on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox. I don't know why I said Xbox. X is Twitter. Facebook. What am I missing? Spotify. Anything that gives you podcasts, we're there. Facebook. That's it, Mike.
You did.
I did. Okay, good. Hit us up there. We have a Discord page if you want to join.
Instagram? Are we on Instagram?
We are Instagram. Yes, we are on Instagram. If you want to hit us up on the Discord, we have a Discord. Join in. You can add your own opinions.
Just hit us up.
Yeah, just hit us up. We're trying to grow, baby. Tell all your friends, and till next time, we'll see you there.